In Sonic the Hedgehog's many games, he's had several different gameplay styles in them, and today we're going to be ranking all of them. Here we are in Tier Maker. I got the tier list set up, and if you can scroll down here and see, I actually made this tier list myself. I finally did something! The tier list will be in the description down below if you guys want to make your own, and if you do, tweet it at me, twitter.com/Vegetarian. Now this tier list is comprised of all the gameplay styles spanning across all the mainline games. I know it can be subjective, what's mainline, what's spin-off. This is what I consider to be mainline, but if you think another gameplay style should be on the list, put it down in the comments below. If you guys want me to do a part 2, where I rank all the spin-off gameplay styles, also let me know in the comments below. Boy oh boy, them spin-offs, they got a lot of gameplay styles. But let's get started. We're starting off with Classic Sonic. Now this is all the classic Sonics, every incarnation of him in the mainline games. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, Sonic 3, Sonic 4, technically, I guess we'll count that. We got Generations, we have Mania, then we have Sonic Forces. Now, if Sonic Forces wasn't on this list, easy S tier. But oh my gosh, Classic Sonic was so bad in Sonic Forces, my least favorite part of that game. I really dreaded every single Classic Sonic level I had to play as him. So, unfortunately, because of Forces, I'm gonna have to put you in A tier. Sonic started off in the classic style. Not my favorite, but it's still definitely good. Next up, we got 2D Tails. Now, there's really nothing wrong with 2D Tails. Every single game that he's been in, he's controlled fine. I mean, the flight is a little slow. I know that's, like, subjective, if it should be slower or faster. I don't know if I want to stick him in S tier, because it's not like a top tier gameplay style. So I'm gonna stick him in A tier. Oh, and I forgot to mention the advanced games. The advanced games also count as classic gameplay style. 2D Knuckles. He is more versatile than Sonic and Tails. He can glide and climb on walls. His jump is a little short compared to the other two. And it's not the perfect gameplay style. I know it's subjective. This is all subjective. But I don't know if I want to stick him in S tier. I'm going to stick him in A tier as well. Next up, Classic Supersonic. I know it shows Hypersonic there, but when I recorded the footage, I had Hypersonic and Doomsday Zone. So that's what I stuck with. Now this counts as both the in-level Supersonic and the final boss Supersonic in Sonic 3 and Knuckles in the advanced games. And honestly, I'm thinking S tier. He's invincible, he's faster, he jumps higher. When he's hypersonic, he has that screen nuke attack, and the final boss perk is really good. The only real downside I have is that the supersonic music overwrites the level music and there's no option to turn that off, but otherwise, it's an S tier gameplay style. Did somebody say S tier gameplay style? Because if you want S tier gameplay styles, look no further than the adventure gameplay style. Mwah! Chef's kiss! If I can add an S plus tier, this would be the only entrant in that tier! This one's for Adventure, Adventure 2, Shadow, kinda, and 06. I know 06. Look, it wasn't the best, but it was still a good adaptation of this gameplay style. But honestly, in my opinion, in Sonic Adventure 1, that was the best controlling Sonic in all of the 3D games. SA2 did add to it. It added the Bounce Bracelet, which is a really fun power-up. It added the Somersault too, which I don't really like. I feel like it's a little bit of a pace breaker, but it did upgrade the Light Speed Dash. Yeah, Sonic's slower in 06, but he did add the Slide, which is something. It's better than the Somersault, and it also added those gems that you can use, and they're pretty fun to mess around with. Throughout all these entries on the list, the adventure gameplay style is definitely my favorite. Next up, we got Tails from Adventure 1. Now, I love the control of Tails in Adventure 1. It is my favorite controlling Tails out of all of them. The flight is fast, he controls well, unlike other games. But the only real negative I can think of is that in his levels, he's racing other characters, and his levels aren't truly catered to him. I would love for Sonic Team, either in the Frontiers DLC or another game, to adapt this Tails gameplay style and give him his own levels and take away the racing. Just give him his own levels and then, mwah, perfect Tails. Now, do I want to put him in S or A? I really didn't mind the racing that much. He is pretty fun to control. Ooh, this is a toughie. I think I'm ultimately gonna go with S tier. Next up, we got the treasure hunting levels. Now, the control was better in Adventure 2, but then they had that nerfed radar system, which was just kind of dumb. Like, it felt like a way to artificially pad out the game, which I didn't feel was necessary considering how big the Adventure 2 levels are, especially Meteor Herd and Mad Space. But it is a fun gameplay style. I really do like gliding around as Knuckles, trying to find the emerald shards. I'm gonna put it at the very, very top of A tier. Oh boy, we have a doozy. Amy from Adventure 1. I think this is our first D tier. They slowed her down compared to Sonic, and they tried to give her a more, like, puzzle-oriented gameplay style. But the only puzzles I can think of in Adventure 1 is the block puzzles, where you have to pick up the blocks and put them in the slots that are right next to the blocks. I feel like they intended for her to be more acrobatic because of her hammer jump, but there really aren't any opportunities to take advantage of that acrobatic gameplay. I would love if Sonic Team adapted this Amy gameplay style into the Frontiers DLC, because she's possibly going to be a playable character if they just sped her up a little bit, gave her more acrobatic flow, and then BAM! We have a great Amy! Next up, we got the mech shooting levels from Adventure and Adventure 2. Now, the thing with the mech shooting levels in Adventure 2 is I like the additions that they added to it, but they slowed Eggman and Tails down a little bit. Like, Gamma, he was fast. He had his own high speed mode. And I like that, but I like the additions in SA2 as well. I don't know, I think I'm going to stick him in B tier. Next up, we have Big's Fishing. Now look, I've played Adventure so many times that I could just easily go through Big's story without any difficulties. But I can't lie and say that I enjoyed myself. And I can't lie and say that it has any real place in a Sonic game. So I'm gonna stick him in D tier because he really has no place there. The fishing, it's not really fun. It's just kinda, it's there. It's just there. But I do know some people have struggled with the fishing, and for those people, I am so sorry. Now we got Super Sonic from Sonic Adventure. Now his main thing is just maintaining speed so he could rush into perfect chaos. And that's about it. So I'm going to put him in C tier because there's nothing else there. It's just moving forward and dodging obstacles and collecting rings. Super Hedgehogs in Adventure 2. Kinda in the same vein. All you do is dash up and down while avoiding lasers and all those little projectiles that the final hazard has to hit its swelling spots. I remember on my first playthrough of Adventure 2, when I first got to the final hazard, I hated the controls. The ascending and descending did not feel well at all. Now that I've played the game a lot more, it's fine. It's just, I don't think it's better than Adventure 1. The setting, yes. The gameplay, not really. Next up, we got another mixed bag, the Sonic Heroes gameplay style. I'm actually going to put this at B tier. It definitely has potential, but in Heroes, there were a few things that I didn't like. For example, the flying characters are so slow, and the speed character's acceleration is through the roof. If you had an option to play as the flying character without being in the totem pole formation, that would make the gameplay style better. If they slowed down the speed character a little bit, and maybe tighten the controls a little bit, that would be better as well. The combat's fine, I like the level up system, and of course, the team blasts are very funny and very cool. Next up is Team Superheroes, I guess that's what we're gonna call it. I'm going to put this in B tier because it's more involved than these two. It is similar to the hero style because obviously it's the hero style but super, and you can only attack Metal Overlord with a Team Blast, which is fine, I don't mind that, and the Team Blast is pretty cool. From Sonic Advance 3, we have the team up mechanic. I'm going to put this in an A tier. It was actually pretty fun, and it was definitely fun experimenting with all the different team combinations. Except Knuckles and Tails, that was like the worst one. But if you paired a character with Cream, then they would get their own little Chow that looks like them, that was so cute! If they made another 2D Sonic game with multiple playable characters, I would not mind seeing a return of the team-up formula. It was definitely pretty fun! Next up we have the Shadow gameplay from 2005's hit game, Shadow the Hedgehog, and 2006's hit game, Sonic 06, where Shadow is a playable character. It uses the adventure gameplay style as a base and adds chaos abilities, guns, and vehicles. And I guess it technically added combat, but let's be honest, who actually used that 1-2 kick combo in Shadow the Hedgehog? I don't like the controls as much as Adventure in Shadow the Hedgehog. They're more fine-tuned in 06. The gun gameplay is fine, but the vehicles are pretty whack because they're slower than Shadow himself. I don't remember how they were in 06, all I know is that there were weapons on it. The chaos abilities were fun to use. More fun in Shadow the Hedgehog than in 06, because you had the offensive abilities, which is Chaos Blast, and you had the utility abilities, which was Chaos Control, where you could zip through the level and stop time. I don't know, I barely used 06's Chaos abilities. The Chaos Spear, Chaos Lance, and the upgraded Chaos Lance, they just weren't as interesting. I'm gonna put it at the end of B tier. It's a good gameplay style, but if the Chaos abilities in Shadow the Hedgehog carried over to 06, then I feel like it would be higher up. Next up, we got Super Shadow. You just fly around and charge up Chaos Spears the whole time. C tier. C is really looking like the Supersonic tier right now. Next up, the Silver the Hedgehog gameplay style from Sonic 06. Now, I love Silver. He's my favorite character, and his powers are the main reason why he's my favorite character. But, oh man, 06, come on! There's potential there. There's so much potential there, but I just don't feel like it was fully tapped in 06. Number 1, Silver's the slowest of the main characters, which definitely sucks. And I just feel like the psychokinesis could have been expanded upon more. Like, you see all the cool stuff he was doing in Generations? That was so cool! Why can't we do that in this game? If there was like a C+ tier, I would put Silver there. But for now, I'm going to put him at the tippity top of the C tier. And if Silver got his own game, or if he was playable in another game, please, Sega, make his gameplay style better. Make him faster. Let you be able to do more things with the psychokinesis. Please, please! Oh boy. Tails from Sonic 06. D tier. This is the worst playable Tails. I don't like how he controls, and instead of using his tails to attack, he uses those stupid dummy ring bombs. I hate those dummy ring bombs. Tails was perfectly fine with his offensive capabilities in Adventure 1. Why give him these offensive ring bombs? They're dumb. His flying is pretty jank. His speed is pretty slow. I just don't like Tails in 06. Not my least favorite character in the entire game, but one of them, definitely. Knuckles from Sonic 06. Don't go on walls or you will never get off of them. Rouge in Sonic 06. Just a combination of Tails and Knuckles. Omega in Sonic 06. He was actually kind of fun to play. I don't know if I should put him in C tier or B tier. I don't think he's B tier worthy. I think I will stick him in C tier, right behind Silver. Actually, do I like him more than Silver? No. No, he's staying right behind Silver. Blaze in 06. Oof, Blaze in 06. She felt more like Sonic than any of the other characters, and her fire powers were pretty cool. So I'm gonna put her in B tier. But oh boy, we got Amy in 06. What can I say that hasn't already been said? Slow. Check. A double jump that kills all of your momentum. Check. A hammer that gives you the range of a broken bottle. Check. And a weird invisibility move that for some reason never worked for me. Check! The Super Hedgehogs in 06. I could have separated them because they do play a little different, but I was going to rank them any differently. They're going in C tier. Sonic, you dash around the arena and then hit the enemy. Shadow, you dash around the arena and throw Chaos Spears at the enemy. Silver's the most involved out of the three of them because he actually has to catch all the projectiles that Solaris is throwing. But I don't know, sometimes I miss with those projectiles or they just hit each other and explode, and that could get pretty frustrating. But next up, we got the boost gameplay from Sonic Rush, Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, and Sonic Forces. Now, Sonic Forces doesn't really do anything negative with it. It's just kind of the same. It's just the levels in Forces that are really boring for modern Sonic. It was fine in Rush. I liked it in Generations and Unleashed, but then Colors added that stupid double jump that they kept in Forces and Frontiers. That's kind of lame. Honestly, I'm going to give the boost gameplay probably a high B. It would have been in the A tier, but I feel like I'm just so tired of the boost gameplay. I want the adventure style back. Sega, bring back the adventure style. Because we've had it since 2008 in the 3D games, with slight deviations, but we still had it for all that time. I think it's ready for a gameplay change. We did kind of get one Frontiers. I know Frontiers, it's more the same, but it is a little different, and it has its own separate entry here. Next up, we have the Werehog. Now, I haven't played Unleashed since my first playthrough, and my first playthrough, I didn't really play the Werehog correctly. I didn't explore any of the other combos that you could do. I was just kind of button mashing my way through the game, and I can't say I enjoyed my time with them fully. So for now, I'm going to stick him in the C tier, but if I did replay Unleashed and I actually invested some time to learning the combos and getting that experience, I feel like I would have a better time with the game. I mean, if y'all want Unleashed after Adventure 2, I could be persuaded to do it. Just put it down in the comments below. I'd have to buy a whole Xbox to play in 60 frames, but I would do it for you guys. Next up, we got the Gaia Colossus. He's actually pretty lame. All you do is just dash and do quick time events. But it is kind of neat playing as our boy Chip. Next, we got Super Modern Sonic from regular gameplay and from the final bosses. I know on the Wii version of Unleashed, you can actually fight Dark Gaia, but on the PS3 and Xbox 360 version, You just dash to take out those dragons to lower the shield, and then you do quick time events, which is not as cool, but in the modern Sonic levels, he's fine. I didn't like him in Generations though, because of that flying boost that drained so many rings. Overall, either C or B. I'm gonna put him in low B tier though. The Lost World gameplay style. Now this one is pretty divisive. On one hand, you got the return of the spin dash and the parkour, which could be improved upon, but I did think it was good for what it was. And on the other hand, you have the run button, which is extremely dumb. A run button should never be in a Sonic game. I feel like it could have been expanded upon more, especially the parkour. Really, the parkour was only used to jump between walls and run up walls. It could have been so much more if they designed levels specifically around it, which, they didn't really do that well. So I guess I'm gonna put Lost World in the C tier. And the tiers themselves really aren't in any order. I guess just what's at the top. That's what's the best in that tier. And then we have the custom avatar from Sonic Forces. It was really just modern Sonic without the boost and some Wispins. Like, yeah, I guess the Wispins were cool conceptually, but I never really used them that much. I think the best part about the avatar, and probably in Sonic Forces as a whole, is the customization. That was pretty cool. But I mean, he's just lame. He's just lame. I'm putting you in D tier. Next up, we got the Sonic Frontiers gameplay style. Now, this one is tough. A or S? Ooh, I think I'm gonna go with an S tier. Now, this isn't the cyberspace levels. This is mainly the open zone gameplay where you're running around, doing the platforming challenges, and the combat. The combat in Frontiers is so good. The only time it gets stale is when you max out your levels and you just start one-tapping and two-tapping everything. But otherwise, it's really fun. I like the skill tree. I like the moves you can unlock. The only thing I wish is that we had more moves to play with. But you never know. We might get some in the DLC. I doubt it, but we might. And last but certainly not least, we got the Sonic Frontiers Super Sonic gameplay style. Give me that S tier. I have to stand for that because of how good this gameplay style is. I think I speak for everybody when I say that the Titan fights are the best parts of Sonic Frontiers. And Super Sonic actually doing combat, actually fighting the bosses, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. You can pair, you get special animations, you can side loop. It's great. It's a really fun time. Honestly, the only negative I have with the Super Sonic Frontier style is that we can't use Super Sonic in the open zone. But hey, DLC, this is your chance to rectify that. Here is the full and complete tier list, and I am interested when those new playable characters come out for the Sonic Frontiers DLC, where will they rank in this list? Honestly, I'm hoping A or S tier, but you never know. They could be bad, but I'm really hoping they're not, but I won't let my guard down just yet. I'll stay optimistic, cautiously optimistic. Mainly because we don't really have any information on what these playable characters would do or what their gameplay style will be, but hey, a guy can hope that they'll be good. And again, the link to the tier list will be in the description down below, and that'll be all from me. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload. If you guys have any suggestions of what game I should play next, if I should play Sonic Unleashed, if I should do another tier list, if I should do more shiny hunting videos, let me know. So yeah, that's all. Bye, guys.